lower end of this group stage standing is they are going to run right into each other already, but Team Spirit also going to back off. Yatoro going to run around the other way, looking at 23 Savage. He'll go hunting around, see if he can find a ward for his team. Yatoro, they're going to be chased down by Makoto, but they don't exactly have a way of locking him down, so he's going to be fine with the PL. Understanding the lockdown of Talon, at least for now, is literally just nothing.
Yeah, they're
30 seconds.
honestly like Talon's running what, 2-stun lineup, 3-stun lineup, if you count any of these as really hard stuns. Telekinesis, Pounce, and Lasso. One of that being an ult. So realistically, you only really have 2 stuns to play with, which doesn't feel great. I mean, you could argue the same for Team Spirit. They only have Disruption, Rolling Thunder, and Roar, and 2 of those are ults. Just feels a little bit more steady for Team Spirit, and the flexibility of saving here. Still, forcing the issue is Q.
Begins.
I mean, Q will go for a bit of a chase, but Yatoro does pick up the bounty. It's actually a 3-for-1 trade as well, by the way. So Team Spirit getting away with 3 bounty runes here. Not quite expected, but Mira does manage to snipe one down at the bottom bounty rune spot. So a nice start for Team Spirit, as we can start, of course, with the mid lane. You're going to have Makoto on the TA against Lal on the Pangolier. Last time around, it was quite an even affair between these 2 heroes, rather 2 plays, I should say. But 2 new heroes are upon us. Do you give your advantage to one way or the other here, John, in the mid?
I think it's rather even back and forth. If Makoto can keep landing the melt before the refraction is up, then he feels pretty safe and wasting a lot of resources out from Laurel. At the same time, Laurel's going to have a consistent way of getting some good swashes off, clear out the early levels in refraction. Not too much durability from Makoto in this lane. And without the side blades, he's going to be up close and personal, which is something that the Pango will enjoy. So I'd say maybe a little bit easier for Laurel in the first 4 levels, evens out for Makoto by level 5. If he reaches that point without dying, which, you know, even in an unfavorable matchup, you should be able to play safe. Shouldn't be too hard.
Absolutely. That bottom lane as well, we're having a look at it right now. Collapse Mirror against Ollie and 23 Savage. This Team Spirit do have the advantage of just having played against this lane. So should have a bit of a rethought process to how to deal with this. Of course, they do bring Mirror down here as well instead of Maposhka. So a big change in terms of the players. For now, Collapse Mirror proving to be just fine here against Ollie and Savage. See if Ollie does find those angles for the lift back into the Pounce anytime onto Mirror, but at least you will have disruption through the Pounce to just kind of waste the duration. Not the worst hero getting away from the Slark this game.
Yeah. A little bit harder for you to look for that aggression here for 23, and this should lead to a much more stable start for Collapse. He shouldn't be zoned out, and Savage shouldn't be able to just run away in this lane. A little bit slower for him in terms of the CS. And this is Mirror just spamming out the disruption. Once you have the Shadow Poison to threaten, maybe even the early Disseminate, there's a lot of damage that can come out onto the Slark, so have to be really cautious, much more cautious for Savage in this lane than he was last time around.
Of course, that top lane, Yatoro and Maposhka against Jabs and Q. So far going pretty well for Jabs. Yatoro not struggling too much either. I imagine this lane should be just fine in terms of trading CS with each other. I highly doubt we see a kill, maybe onto Maposhka, but even then, chances are they'll just be trading farm here at the top lane. Would not be very surprised if Maposhka and Q end up leaving the lane early because there's just nothing to do.
Yeah, it's a pretty static lane. Probably the most farm-heavy lane where both heroes are more than happy to just farm up. If Maposhka is isolated by Q, then it doesn't feel too good for the Silencer to run into that one. Firefly and Flame Break damage is pretty significant. You're not going to get too much value from your Arcane Curse here either from Maposhka. His HP is already all the way down. So you're pretty alright with the trades for Q, but again, the 1v1 for the chorus really doesn't do anything. Just farm, maybe more denies for Jabs for the Wolves, but that's about the only difference you can ask for.
Yeah, certainly so. And in the end, Yatoro is going to eventually just leave to the jungle anyway. So much more jungle space on the map now. Just prioritize that jungle area and catch up that way if you need it. I imagine we're going to see Jabs going for the Helm of the Overlord build-up, and that is exactly where he's going. Q actually going to get jumped here by Yatoro and Maposhka. Nice slows, but not going to be anywhere near enough for them to actually try and really secure a kill onto the Bat Rider. It's going to be just fine. I must admit, John, I do like your idea as well with the Harpoon on Lycan. I think it might be a very nice item for Jabs if he can find a decent timing for it. pretty kind of terrorizing if you get harpooned to a bunch of creeps here by jabs. Especially for the supports of Team Spirit.
Yeah. I think the only thing holding you back from like a Harpoon and Dominator or Overlord timing is the fact that AC is probably a little bit more impactful for the Lycan. So I can understand not wanting to go that route.
Slows out from jabs, or rather just Q, setting up perfectly here on the Batrider, able to pick off the silence at position 5 for first blood. Jab's going to be very happy securing the first blood bonus to boot. So Helm with the Dominator timing just going to be that much quicker now on the Lycan.
And that is, again, a soft target you can go for. The PL can't really do too much to relieve any of that pressure in the lane. So having a nice start picking off the more susceptible support here for Talon. Down bot, you are seeing a lot more aggression. Again, with all the damage you can throw out from range here from Team Spirit, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, Mira with the level 2 Shadow Poison, getting the 5 stacks, so having plenty of damage. Even forcing out 23 Savages mid lane. Miposhka goes down to Makoto. So Miposhka showing up in the mid lane. Didn't quite see exactly what happened, but Q also seems to have TP'd. It's like they may have gone in for a dive into the mid lane onto the TA, but in the end they end up feeding a kill away. And well, if I know mid laners, John, Lul's probably not going to be too happy seeing Miposhka, or rather Makoto, get a free kill onto Miposhka.
Not the best thing to see here. Makoto going to be feeling more than happy. And you already go through that early timing where the TA is a little bit more susceptible. Level 1 to 4 pretty much is when it's really susceptible to the early ganks. By 5, with level 3 refraction, pretty hard to melt through that despite having the swash up. And at the least, again, not the biggest kill to find in the silencer. And Laurel will just work his way bot, wanting to constantly apply that pressure onto Ollie and Savage here.
See if they can do it. At the very least, they are making a lot of space for Collapse to just farm very effectively on the Beastmaster. Lol's going to rotate back into the mid lane, so he's had enough of the bot lane. Just not seeing the opportunities here as the Pango. So you'd rather have level 6 anyway if you can. To have that Rolling Thunder up to really ensure you can just roll in and start a team fight. In the meantime, Makoto is now level 6 on the TA, so he's going to prove to be even more challenging to kill off. Traps being set up everywhere. And this is scary because you can't... Oh, hold that thought. Makoto, gonna get jumped now. They'll try to get through his HP pool. The Q is showing up. Makoto trying to go for the fight, but is gonna go down. Nice setup here from Miposhka and Lal. This Q is trying to at least get a trade, but now Mira's gonna show up. Q's going back in for the silencer. He will actually pick him off. And with the Firefly, he will keep running. They will not be able to keep up. Still, though, a huge win for Team Spirit finding that TA. And I was just about to say the TA was having such a fantastic start. But with that death, it does feel a little bit better here for Spirit.
Yeah, you're more than happy to finally trade away. Finally punish Makoto for stepping a little bit too far forward here on that TA. Does take a lot of commitment. All the support showing up mid once more. So kind of the same circumstances we had last time. Gives Talon a little bit more room to try to get something done. We are seeing a bit of a movement up top here.
Yatoro going to be targeted. Ollie, he lifts up the right one. Yatoro dropping very, very low, but moving too fast for jabs. See, the offlane Lycans, just they don't build boots, John. You know, so you don't have the greatest movement speed. As mid lane, Makoto again being targeted. Does eat a Fairy Fire up. Shadow Poison's following him down, but it's not going to be enough damage from Mira. So Makoto barely going to survive, as Lal is forced to TP away and watch his supports die from the fountain. This Mira might find a career for his trouble, but not quite. I appreciate the way Team Spirit is trying to play this. Just make sure Makoto does remain just locked down on this TA. Sadly, though, it doesn't pan out this time around.
And they're not nailing the kill this time. That's a lot of time commitment down mid. That is the early roll as well gone. Not leading to too much coming out here. Talon more than happy. And Mikado is still farming well. Number 2 in net worth right behind Jabs right now. And even Savage left alone isn't in the worst position. Not feeling great. Kind of struggling in the same way Yator is. But also not completely zoned out. Although the roar threat from Collapse is pretty significant. We'll have to watch his spacing on that Slark. 4-2. Team Spirit, they have corrected a little bit here, Mike. The lanes do feel a lot better. Like, it's not as strong of a start from Talon off the back of this laning phase. There are some good stacks from Makoto to clear, which aren't scouted out. So your TA flash farm is still set to go. And he's got a nice bottled up DD. If he does feel cheeky, Makoto could look for a little bit of a shove on a tower here.
Could just go for the Ancients as well. The Q is going to help him out with that, though. Nice rotations in from Mirror and Lal, trying to interrupt this happening. Lal's going to go immediately onto Q, but Firefly was going, though, so Q is going to get to the high ground, as now Mirror is going to drop, and Lal is forced to just roll away. Makoto immediately going back to take those Ancient stacks, though Lal is sticking around, seeing if he can snipe some. Does get one, I think, but now he's forced to TP away. It's Makoto. A lot of damage with that level 1 meld strike, but nowhere near enough to secure the kill.
Dire's middle tower.
Nah, I mean, he still finds most of the Ancient creeps, and you find a support kill for your trouble. I have to say, the damage output of Q, again, level 3 Firefly, this here is pretty ridiculous if it can get on top of you. And they just kind of pat into where Jabs is at, so the fire just melting them down. Again, with the DD up, not too much time left, but they will go for a shove up top here, looking for the tier 1 tower, opening up a part of the map for perhaps for Savage to start switching onto, as still struggling in that solo lane up against the Beastmaster. And Talon, they're inching towards that early Helm of the Overlord timing here, Mike. So that's when Jab starts to get scary, with a shapeshift ready, chasing down.
Oh, Roar is out. Savage, he got to pounce off in time. The supports can't break the gap yet. Collapse is keeping up the vision, though, so Maposhka can get the Arcane Curse off. Savage in huge trouble without mana. He's going to go down. A massive kill now for Team Spirit, picking off the position 1 Slark. In the meantime, Talon do take the top tier 1 tower. But still, I'm sure Spirit looking to be very happy about that pick off on the Slark.
Again, this is implying a lot more pressure onto Savage, you know, ensuring that the timings for the Diffusal Echo Saber is just a little bit slower in this game. Savage, for his part, despite dying, I mean, he's still above Laurel and Yatoro, so Talon's managed to apply even more pressure onto that mid and safe lane themselves. And again, their key timings are still lining up here.
He's TP'd right in, but does pounce back out towards the south. Lal might be targeted mid lane. Lift is out from Ollie. Lal is able to get the Rolling Thunder. He's just fine. Meanwhile, the bottom tier 1 going to be forced in by Team Spirit. There'll be no real defense to come out. The only person there is 23 Savage. Though I say that, TPs are incoming now. They want to try and punish Team Spirit, but the disruption is there from Mirror. Q going to be slowed up, but Savage does get a pounce right on the edge. So Mirror going to be left behind. He will be the sacrificial lamb. 23, able to pick up his first kill of the game on the Slark.
Nice little pickup for them. Not the biggest punishment, but it does save that bot tier 1 for a little bit longer. Within deny range now, though. Should be able to just take it out. 6-3 start. Talon again coming out with a 3K draft here. Team Spirit just lagging a bit behind. It's back to recovery mode. Almost the same story as game 1. Yatoro's going to have to sit in the jungle. Laurel's going to have to try to catch up. Once the Diffusal's up on the Pango, things open up a little bit more. But that will line up with the Overlord timing on Jabs. And just Lycan plus Overlord at this timing, it's going to be pretty scary. You don't have a lineup that really stops the Lycan from just chasing you down, especially on these squishier supports. Jabs is going to have a field day in the backline if he's allowed to just freely farm into this, and it just doesn't look like Spirit cares about the Lycan too much, which, I mean, I understand applying that pressure onto the Slark and the TA, but still, Lycan with Overlord is not something to take easy here.
No, it certainly is not. Mid lane, Talon still grouping up. Lal slowed up by the trap, but is going to be okay. Just hanging by the tier 2 tower. Down at bottom lane, Maposhka and Collapse are hanging about, just trying to farm a large camp, but you do have Talon rotating into that dire triangle now, getting in position. Sadly for Talon, they didn't have the vision on these 2 heroes now, but they do see Collapse on the creep wave. They will prioritize taking the farm in the triangle, however. Q will just deal with it with the Firefly.
I think Mikado is stuck.
Uh-oh.
Tumbler tore down into the tree line.
He is stuck. He's okay. He'll get out of it.
It happens.
It does. Bottom Collapse. Looking for Savage, it seems. Is by himself. Doesn't really have enough damage to deal with Savage, even with the roar up. We'll just kind of force him away.
Mira.
This is your Crimson Guard build up now for Collapse, so nice little spike in the item timing here for the Beastmaster. Mid lane, Mira going down to Makoto. See, Mira not too hard of a pick off if he does get caught here by Ollie. Seems like Makoto will be very thankful for an easy support kill.
Yeah, not the biggest loss in the world. They're starting to really look for Savage here.
gonna find the silencer again. Q gonna be there with the lasso, dragging him out, making sure he can't get in the team fight, but Savage is down. Immediate rotation from Lal, and Collapse did not hesitate to just pop the roar on the Slark. That is not a very worthwhile trade for Talon.
No. Very costly to come out there. Global Silence being suspended at the very least means they can take the follow-up fight.
Yeah, they're gonna go for after Lal, making it look just a little bit better for themselves now, finding the mid Pango. Problem is, in the meantime, Yatoro has been kind of forgotten about. Now, he isn't the highest net worth, but he has gotten to the stage where he has got the full ags up. So he can start to be better for themselves now, finding the mid Pango. Problem is, in the meantime, Yatoro has been kind of forgotten about. Now, he isn't the highest net worth, but he has gotten to the stage where he has got the full ags up. So he can start to be...
That is a big spike for the PL, although it's just... That isn't without any other items, so the illusions aren't quite a threat yet. Again, for that last fight, Savage comes in, he uses the Dark Pact early before the roar. And they just wait for that to fade, roar up, and it's easy pickings on that fish. Again, Yatoro with the axe is pretty nice, but no defusal, no nothing really except just power tread. So it's not the biggest threat in the world. I don't think I don't think Talon should be too scared just yet, but that is a sign that they should try to impede on that Phantom Lancer. Because once defusal is up, none of you are going to have mana, and all of you are kind of reliant on just casting spells in the middle of these engagements.
I mean, I guess Yatoro might just go for this build, helps him farm a little bit faster, and as well as that, gives him some fight potential, even without the Diffusal Blade. You still have the Phantom Lancer spam, or the Spirit Lance spam, rather. So they are going to go for a smoke up. They'll bring Yatoro with them. Heading through that Radiant jungle is Team Spirit. They'll need to get to the Dire jungle to find anyone from Talon. Q in position to break any smoke here for 23 Savage. And in fact, Jabs is making the call to go for Roshan. He's got the Ancient Black Dragon available with the Helm of the Overlord up, so plenty of damage here against Roshan. Makoto will be around to help out with all the minus armor he can provide. But Team Spirit know this is happening. They will move up. Savage, he is going to be spotted here. Collapse, not going to react in time. Savage will pounce away. But Talon, they're rushing right for the team fight. They want to go for this. Spirit trying to kite in and out. They'll go after Q with the Roar. The Bat Rider, he's still alive though. Makoto jumping in. Lal still trying to chase down Q, but this Bat is just not dying. Q is still running, finally going down. Meanwhile, Jabs, he's got my posture on the silencer, is now Collapse being surrounded by Jabs creeps. He's going to drop to boot. Yatoro desperately needs to run. Traps around, slowing him down. He can't make it. He's gone. Jabs with a triple kill on the Lycan. 4 heroes down for Spirit. And Talon, all they lost with was a Bat Rider. Not too big of a deal.
That was a huge steal from Ollie. In the replay, if you see it, the Global Sound comes out right as he spell steals the Roar. No other spell coming out there. It interrupts Larla on the roll. He doesn't manage to catch out Mikado. Mikado gets free hits with the side blades in. And if that roll just went through, would have been a very different story for Talon, but again, Ollie on the Rubik, a force to be reckoned with. Getting that Roar in the middle of that fight, cutting off Larla, it just ruins it. And again, Phantom Lancer with Eggs, it's strong, but it doesn't do much. You need Diffusal. You need your Yasha, you need your Manta, you need more stats to really have impact there.
Yeah, I mean, it felt a little bit of a desperate team fight here from Spirit, but obviously they did not want to give the free Roshan to Talon. That was the thing. Now, the 6k advantage, Aegis is here for Makoto. Talon, they're getting so many big items up here. Just with the Overlord alone on Jabs, they're looking at that tier 2 top tower. Team Spirit, they are going to be around to try and slow this down a little bit. And really not going to take them too long, but at least they have the Balancing Spirit Lance to try and clear out the creep waves. The Yatoro probably not going to be happy that he has to stick around here and defend with his team. But that is just kind of the case right now. Like, you need everybody you can get as Team Spirit.
Yeah. Need to drag those bodies forward. Rather interesting to see Jabs build up here, Mike. He is going for the standard universal build. He is going for the Manta. So, not quite the Harpoon, but close enough in Spirit. Collapse.
Collapse bottom lane. Yeah, big trouble here. Lasso's going to come out. Mid-roar animation, though Collapse still has a chance to get it off. He does pop it. Makoto, however, still going after the Beastmaster, will secure that kill. Lal, oh, that's a great sidestep from Q. Juking out Lal, not allowing the kill attempt onto the Bat Rider. That's why they call him Twinkle Toes. He'll get out just fine. This Team Spirit trying to run, jabs rushing in, seeing
Oh,
a
no.
silencer, and says, thank you for the easiest kill of my life.
They just melt. They run down.
Maposhka may as well have been Goldilocks there, John.
The big bad wolf came knocking to the door right there, Mike. And
certainly did.
Side of Team Spirit. I mean, they're trying. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to match it aggression. We did call for this from the draft, but they're in a position where they don't have enough items to really get that done. Like that, the fact that you didn't manage to instantly roar, even though you roar as well, it's onto Q. It's a support Bat Rider. With Firefly up, you're still under the damage. It doesn't really stop that from being effective here. And just these early timings from Talon, they've managed to hit their spike. It's not unplayable for Team Spirit, mind you. Again, if they scale up here, if Yator is allowed to reach that point where he has the Manta and the Heart, I don't know how you manage that on Talon's end at the same time. If Talon keep pushing the objectives, then you might not have enough room to hit those spikes here for the side of Team Spirit. So have to mitigate the losses while they can. And again, just constantly try to build up on Yator as best as you can as well. Talon, even with this lead, they have to be mildly cautious about bleeding out too much. I think if they give it opportunities as we saw last time to Spirit, in this kind of draft, it favors Spirit a lot more to take a long game.
Spirit are moving in though. Yatoro gets onto the high ground with the doppelganger.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Spirit, all right, they can't sit back for too long.
Oh,
Makoto,
that's a real
trap
one.
stance is there. Yatoro gonna get caught. He's still fighting back, but he is dropping very, very low now. They might even go for the chase. Jabs is around. He'll pop the wolf form. Savage gonna show up from the left side. Yatoro, he needs the help. Disruption will buy a little bit of time, but not much. Not much as Mirror immediately TPing out. But they've lost their position 1 PL. Yatoro, he just had no gameplay. No way out of that scenario.
Dire's structures are
That is
fortified.
just devastating. The early shard from Mikado, the silence on the traps, that's the control they play with. Just catching out the PL, can't doppel out, can't spam the Spirit Lance. No Yasha, no Manta yet. So he's just a sitting duck to that control from Mikado.
Radiant
And just pays off. Now they've got the opportunity to take out the Tormentor if they wish. They are going for the double melts onto it. Doesn't take too long to take that objective away. Desolator up for Mikado now as well, along with the Orb of Destruction. As they try top.
Yeah, Global Silence going to be popped, so no lasso to come out here from Q. Very defensive Global Silence, but very necessary to keep Lyle alive through that Rolling Thunder. 12k advantage now for Talon, and you can kind of see how desperate Team Spirit are with the way they've been playing this game, just trying to find any kind of opening. The win probability, though, not sitting too bad. Currently 35% for Team Spirit. So it's not all doom and gloom here. It's not like the apocalypse here for Game 2, but
Radiant's middle tower is under
they
attack.
do need a team fight win. They need a couple pickoffs. They need some space to
Q.
farm. He's going to get spotted eventually, but he will go for the lasso drag onto the high ground for Maposhka. Q, however, looks like he may have just fed his life away. So Maposhka just going to TP out. And Mira will be the one to take the kill here on the Shadow Demon.
You know, sometimes, Mike, you see that opportunity to drag someone to the cliff and you take it. Even though
take it
you
every
die,
time.
you want to keep someone up there. Forces the TP out. Full Manta up on Jabs. Smoke out with his item timing. Look at that damage. 174 plus 100. Like, that is a scary wolf.
Smoke broken from Makoto. Yatoro, they don't know he's right behind them. They think it's up north. Well, they'll jump in on Collapse. The Beastmaster caught, silenced as well. Lyle's going to jump in with a shield crash to try and help out. The lift from Ollie, going to make sure he has no gameplay. Mirror, Disruption, will save now for Lyle. So they will Guiding Greaves up, keep everyone healthy. Yatoro going to move in, but stolen Disruption from Ollie is going to give Jabs a secondary chance of life, as he will try to run with the wolf form. He may be able to outrun them, but no, the Diffusal Blade slowing him up. They will lose Jabs. A nice start here for Team Spirit.
Yeah.
Talon biting a bit more off than they can chew. We'll go back to the base and try to reset.
Just a really awkward angle. Smoke breaking a little bit early, having to dive behind the tier 2s, giving ample time for Team Spirit to respond. At the least, you don't lose Mikado, you don't lose your bigger heroes, but even just losing Jabs. And that's Lycan's been up there number 2 net worth. Not a small kill to give out to the side of Team Spirit. And some great itemization coming out from Team Spirit now as well. The Heaven's Halberd up on Laurel. Mikado not going to be feeling great with the disarms coming in the middle. Heck, even Savage not going to enjoy that. Now, the one thing is that you can't quite disarm everyone at once, unless you get really lucky with your swatch, of course. You do have that going for yourself. One bright side for Talon, full Ags up on 23. So the pounces can start to ramp up. It should be easier for the Slug now to look for that control in these fights.
Q does have the blink up with the lasso. Lal has to be a little bit cautious here. Does have Mirror behind him, so he's feeling safe enough. Talon, they were pressuring the top tier 2, but decide better of it. In fact, lines are being drawn out towards the bottom side of the map, and they are going to pop a smoke for this. They just want to relocate towards Maposhka on the silencer, it seems, as the pings kind of reveal that, and maybe go for the bottom, the bottom lane, just force that out. Because there's no real objectives to take in that area. Apart from maybe the Tormentor and the Shard, rather the Wisdom Rune, as 23 Savage going to find Maposhka. Be a pretty easy kill with the axe up. Meanwhile, up north, Jabs chasing down Mirror. Going to find another support as Mirror trying his best to run is not going to make it out. Even Collapse going down to Makoto. So just kills all across the map here from Talon, finding 3 for nothing. Maybe now they can go back for the top tier 2.
They've got the room to get that done if they want to. All these heroes down. Fairly quick respawns though, so not too much time open here for them to kind of take advantage on Talon's end. I do love this itemization coming out from Jabs, Mike. After the Manta into the Radiance. That's your solution for the PL. Just this big tanky front line Lycan with the burn damage, with the evasion, with the mischance. PL just doesn't enjoy having to deal with mischance. You know, MKB is not an item that PLs tend to want to build up. An interesting solution for Talon to find. We'll see if the timing's going to be right here for Jabs. Mikado just getting to work on that tier 2 by himself. With his output, should find it, but has to be careful.
Yatoro moving in, posturing very aggressively. He's going to force the retreat of Makoto. T2 tower does remain standing. Ping's coming out again from Savage down to this bottom lane, so he might try to pressure the bottom tier 3 tower and buy a bit of space for Makoto to finish off that tier 2. Yatoro is going to rotate to make sure this does remain defended, and it seems like Talon, they're going to retreat anyway. They're not seeing the big opening they're looking for. Yatoro could make it up back towards the top lane if he really wanted to in time. But it seems like it's going to be all about the next Roshan, which is respawning in 20 seconds. And Talon are already in position for it. They are prepped and ready.
And they've got control in that top area. They can just easily drag Savage back up top as well. Spirit are all onto mid. Could look for a bit of a mid-tier 1 tower to take while Roche respawns in. That would distract them, though, from the bigger objective. And Talon, to be safe, take out the tier 2 first with the Ancient Creep from Jabs. So no easy teleportation point. That is outside of vision. They'll have to go directly to their outpost, which does have at least a couple of traps to kind of watch. And Roche is back up. Straight into it they go. It doesn't take too long with Mikado's output and the Howl on top.
Spirit Scan is there, so the Spirit know about this. The thing is, they can't really do anything about it. Even if they wanted to, it's going to happen way too quickly. Just too much minus armor from Makoto. Poor old Roshan just never stood a chance. Aegis Cheese available now for Talon. Makoto will take both for himself. And against Spirit, while they did know that was happening, they had no choice but to sit back. There was no gameplay for him there.
Just can't come in on time. They were focused on that mid. Mikado just clearing out the Tormentor by himself. Nice easy shard for the team. Ollie now having a save with lift back. And all the tools in the world lining up for Talon. 16k net worth lead. Inside of Team Spirit. And they're not out of it yet, despite being so far behind. This PL is still a massive factor. You've still got the Roar to play with. You've got a lot of auras coming out here from Collapse. And there's always an outplay potential from Laurel if he finds the angle. Talon, though, just minimizing losses, playing it safe, looking for openings, and not really forcing too much out just yet.
Well, both teams remaining grouped up. Spirit 17k behind. Dota Plus giving them still a 31% chance, so still a very good chance of evening out this game. They do have a PL after all. He is going for the hard up next from Yatoro. That's when things start to feel very spicy for the PL. Talon, they are surrounding Lal quite heavily. Ward Vision will give Lal over to Talon now, but he does swashbuckle in time. Yatoro going to try and move in and deal with the ancient creep. Q jumping in for a lasso attempt, but an immediate juke out from Yatoro.
Oh.
The rolling thunder now from Ollie, but he does cop the roar out from Collapse, and Ollie, he's trying his best, but he's going to go down. Bit of a rushed initiation from Talon, and it is not going to pay off.
Just getting a little bit hasty there, not managing to land the lasso, not managing to land the pounce on 23 onto Laurel. Breaks that position up. They lose their mid-tier 1 for that. Not the biggest loss just yet. It is fairly late in the game. Mikoto?
Mikoto, he's a big one. Highest net worth on the board right now is the TA. Lyle could not lock him down long enough for his team to connect, however. I don't think they'll really have time to push in this bottom tier 2, or rather mid-tier 2, as Savage gonna jump in on his own. That's the Shadow Dance gone, so maybe they have a chance of taking him out. Q's gonna show up as well. Lasso is out onto Mirror. The Shadow Demon's still alive, however, as the Global Silence is locking down Savage. He's gone too far. Oh, and these are the kind of plays where you start to question what Talon are doing. What was the purpose of that, Talon? They're gonna lose Q. Mikoto now in massive danger, trying for the TP phase, but no, he's gonna get cancelled. First life is gone. The Aegis is down. Ollie is gonna try and save Mikoto, but it is not gonna happen. Now, John, as the Talon representative, tell me why they did that.
Savage just dives sometimes. Savage just likes to keep it exciting, I guess.
Ollie,
I wish I knew.
He's getting dived right now, John. Right in front of the fountain, he will drop.
I wish I understood the mind of Savage sometimes. He does this quite a fair bit. He's done this a lot in the DPC. I mean, I love Newing, but that is just questionable. Jumping the Beastmaster with Crimson Guard and Guardian Greaves. It's not a hero you can kill by yourself. Maybe expecting his team to collapse onto him a little bit faster, but just not there. Again, a very optimistic play coming out from Savage, and it costs everything on Talon. They lose a tier 2 now. Map control opening up for Team Spirit. A huge gold swing coming out their way. And suddenly it's Team Spirit in control. Again, this game was not a game you'd want to play on equal terms for Talon, because this PL is going to be a factor that you cannot control. The team fight of Team Spirit with the silence, with roar, it's very difficult to handle. And now that you're starting to get dragged behind, with Yatoro starting to pull ahead, it's not a comfy time for Talon. Savage has to reel in some of that aggression here. Otherwise, they're going to get a draw.
I mean, you do say you are speaking truth here, John, because Team Spirit, after that one fight, jump up to a 63% win chance. One fight. And suddenly their win chance just doubles.
The scalability is just better. It's just way better.
It is really a matter of this PL cannot be controlled at this stage. Like, it's getting very close to that stage at least. He does have the full heart up.
I mean, you have the Radiance on jabs. I just don't know if that's enough, really. Because you're having trouble identifying Yatoro, bursting him down. Your control, it's really down to either a really good pounce from 23 or a lasso from Q, and neither one's easy to land up against that PL. Mira.
Oh, Ollie too slow. Being slowed up by the balls of Collapse, could not make it within range for the lift up. Was damn close though. Nice little micro there from Collapse. Talon still with a 10k advantage. You're going to start pressuring again for that top lane. Meanwhile, Spirit starting to group up on the bottom side of the map, and they might run into Savage very soon. Pings are coming out. They seem to know he's around that area somewhere. But they will reveal themselves in the creep wave, so Savage arguably should play quite cautiously here. And he's going to just start moving towards the base again. Don't think Team Spirit are going to be able to catch him out. Instead, though, they are looking to set up for the tier 2 bottom tower. And with the Beastmaster, with the PL, it is certainly not going to take them much work to get this done.
No. Objectives do just melt. They'll be able to find themselves another outer tower here. Mikoto, for his part, just trying to apply some pressure on the top tier 3. But can't really do too much solo. Again, big difference in this draft. You don't have Q to kind of make those plays for you. He is on a Batrider. That doesn't push quite as well. Now higher ground is under threat.
It certainly is. Tier 3 tower is absolutely melting here to Yatoro. Cliff is forced. The retreat is there from Team Spirit for now. Could be a fake back though. They might just hold the high ground in the Radiant jungle. Smoke is immediate. And there was no vision to scout out that smoke happening. So it is indeed a fake back. Team Spirit, they're moving back in now. Lyle's going to reveal himself. Mikoto, he'll frontline for his team. does still have the cheese available. Team Spirit not really finding the entrance to this fight that they wanted. They are more than happy now to just retreat, knowing that they have a pretty solid chance of pulling off this Game 2 victory at this stage. The more time that Yatoro has, the better. Like, no one's scaling better than the PL in this game, I'll tell you that.
No, certainly not. Like, Talon's trying to itemize to kind of deal with illusion spam. Savage has the Maelstrom, queuing up the Mjolnir as well. So again, you have some ways of spam. The Radiance is there for jabs, but there's just no direct, easy way to clear out these illusions in a snap. No easy way of finding the real PL. And Yatoro, he is going for the full Blood Torrent to kind of deal with the missed chances in some of these heroes. It's a good itemization coming out here from Yatoro. Talon, they have a 13k lead, but again, that doesn't matter for Zilch, considering what Yatoro can do here. And they can't even make moves across the map now. Rush control is something that they'll lose out on now as well. They'll try for a smoke play out, though.
Gotta try something. 5-man smoke, Talon. Scan is successful. They have scanned on Lal. Team Spirit seem to know they might be approaching. Wolves will hand over the vision here for Talon. They are wrapping around the long way through the backside. Mirror immediately caught out. They've got the Shadow Demon to start. Global Silence was popped, but it does not help. Lal is going for the Rolling Thunder, still trying to initiate for his side. He does end up finding Savage, but the team is not there to back him up yet as Lal is jumping really deep. Savage, he'll go for the fight now. Nullifier has been placed on Lal as they just chase him down along with the wolf form of jabs. A nice roar from Collapse, however, holding down the wolf, but it's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, though, Yatoro, he cleans up Ollie, looking for Makoto now. Will move on to the TA, trying to burn through the refraction charges. Back in on Savage he goes. Yatoro just 1v4ing them at the moment. No fear from Yatoro, but can't lock anyone down. He will eventually just back off. And there was actually a pretty decent fight for Talon in the end, finding a 1-for-2. They do get a buyback forced out here by Mirror.
It's a nice fight to come out. Again, you're still having issues with finding Yatoro, but they do break up the fight enough that they've got segments they can win out on. Finding Laurel, no small feat here for Talon. Still Roshan spawning in about a minute. Nighttime spawn up top. Team Spirit in complete control of the air. Talon will be aware with all the traps from Mikado, but whether or not they can make it there is a different question. I think for Talon, I mean, they have some ways of dealing with the illusion spam. Full Mjolnir for Savage, again, fully built up. And Jab's Radiance is starting to be fairly annoying in some of these prolonged fights. And the Shiva's Guard will also help the cause there once you have that up and running. On the side of Talon, though, it just feels a lot harder for them to play this. Like, Team Spirit maybe fudging up the initiation just a little bit. Laurel going a little bit too far forward while the rest of his team wasn't quite ready to get the jump on the back line. Talon finds the angle, but it does still feel like Team Spirit are on top. Even though they're behind in net worth, it doesn't matter as long as Yatoro is free to do what he wants. Once his full Blood Torrent is out, like, I don't know if you can stop this man.
There's the Roshan spawning now.
Dire's middle tower is under
Team
attack.
Spirit will move in. Talon, they certainly have an opportunity to try and make their way over. BKB just coming out of Makoto, so it's a nice little spike for him. Shiva's now up on jabs as well. Problem is, Roshan is going down a little bit too quickly. Talon, they have not responded in time yet. I believe Roshan is just going to go the way of Team Spirit. Yatoro, he'll take the Aegis for himself. Refresh shard to go the way of Collapse.
Tower is under attack.
And now you've got the full Bloodthorn up on Yatoro, so he's so much more of a scary target on this PL.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Talon, they are the ones that need to find a way to defend their barracks and try to find a way back into this game now. Though the win probability, as I say that, Jonathan, is approaching 50-50 again, to be fair.
Ah.
Even with the Aegis going the way of Spirit, it seems like Talon have started to pull back.
Rather interesting. Wouldn't really peg this net worth lead to account for too much. You're getting even more control out from Team Spirit with a Hex out and Collapse, and you don't have quite that itemization this time around from the side of Talon.
But Falal does have a lasso out. He's got the Pango. Makoto's behind him, trying to get the damage onto the Pangolier, but the Pango is fine as Mirror will be the one to die here to jabs across the map. They do at least find themselves a Shadow Demon, and that was the dieback of Mirror. So now it's a 4v5. You do still have the Aegis Cheese up on Team Spirit, so I suppose you could still consider it a 5v5. Yatoro seems to believe he can 1v5 at the moment. He's just running in.
Oh.
Fine for now, dropping very low, however. Savage not able to find the right target. These illusions making it very, very challenging to actually deal with Yatoro, even if he is diving into your whole team by himself. So we'll successfully just doppelganger out of there. Problem is, in the meantime, Jabs was split pushing the top lane. He's going to get a fair bit of damage off onto the top tier 3 tower, but Lal is going to be around to defend.
Yeah, they're stalling for time really well on Talon. It's them forcing these fights into the Aegis, and the side of Team Spirit not quite comfy enough to kind of jump in and look for those opportunities. Talon splitting up these fights quite nicely. And Jab's doing his job well. Just have to play the split push game, ensure someone responds on the side of Team Spirit, and hope that if Talon do catch someone off guard, they're going to be separated from their team. And we did see significant damage onto Yatoro, so the PL can be chipped down. And the Mjolnir from Savage certainly paying off here. And a Radiance from Jabs, if he is present, can really throw off that presence of Yatoro just a little bit more. But he isn't going to be allowed to keep doing this up top now. We'll take the gate down south at the least with a movement from Team Spirit up top. So not going to be caught out anytime soon. 17k lead still stands for Talon, 23-13. Boy, oh boy, does it feel like this game for Talon. They have to play it in a very specific manner. Savage.
Bloodthorn, Savage. Done packed it off in time. Can be just fine here against Yatoro. And Yatoro going straight into the BOTs now. Wants the boots to travel number 2. It's that the ability to just roam the map consistently, be it every team fight, and just keep the split push going. Team Spirit, I mean, they're building an Ags up on Lal, so that's going to be very annoying through the Rolling Thunder. Octarine Course coming out on Collapse, so his cooldown's going to be even lower on the Beastmaster. Keeping in mind as well, he has a refresh shard available still on this Beast. This next team fight with the double Roar and double Scythe Device is going to be a bit of a problem, I think, for Talon. So we do have a smoke out from Team Spirit. Nobody hanging around this bottom side of the map, so I think they'll just focus on pushing out the creep wave. See if they can use Collapse for bait, perhaps, but no, they won't even bother. They'll go through the Twin Gates, head towards the north of the map, and see if they can find Jabs, who has been split pushing consistently.
It's a lot of heroes for just one. Would be a big one if they find Jabs, though.
They will. Yatoro going to run right into it. Wolf form is there in time. The Bloodthorn did not come out. Disruption is committed to lock him down. They do have the Roar, and they do need it committed. No messing around. They just want the kill. Jabs will go down, but it does at least force Team Spirit to rotate to the north of the map. And that does allow the other cores of Talon to just get out and farm a little bit, because they certainly need it.
Just allowing a little bit more room to breed again. The big one that is growing is Q. Got the Octarine up and running on the Batrider. This does feel like a pretty good Ags game for Q. Like, if you just randomly lasso on the illusions, you should be able to find real PL. That could be one way of isolating Yatoro as well. See a little bit of a disconnect. Southeast Asia, even when they're on LAN in Europe, still have internet issues, Mike.
They certainly do. You just can't avoid it here for the SCA boys. Only Jabs not disconnecting, which is pretty standard as well, actually, during most of their games in the DPCs. For some reason, Jabs just never disconnects. He never has problems.
I don't understand how. Like, he's in the same team house whenever we do have this happen, but...
There it is. We're jinxed. He's gone.
There we are. Now, he just wants at least one hero still in the game, I suppose. Okay. I don't know why he'd be worried about that, but... Reconnects are eventually coming through, taking the opportunity to stretch here just a little bit on the side of Team Spirit. I mean, still a tough game for them, despite having all the scaling in the world, all this really good team fight ability from the side of Team Spirit. Talon are making it very difficult to commit and just push onto the objectives. Next Roshan definitely going to be the flashpoint in this game. But, I don't know, like, I still wonder if they can handle Yatoro in a full committed fight. Because it still feels like this PL's just a little bit too hard to pin down. Again, we've seen damage coming out from Savage. Like, the procs from the Mjolnir, the Chain Lightning, is fairly effective. I just again, don't know if that's enough to sustain True to melt down a PL with this much farm.
It's certainly proving to be a very challenging task. At least 28 seconds left on the Aegis of the Immortal here, so that'll be gone rather soon. Might give Talon an opening. Team Spirit unable to really capitalize off the Aegis timing on Yatoro. We do get back into game number 2. Speaking of Yatoro, he's very, very deep once again in the PL, but just understands how hard he is to kill and how survivable he really is. So confident, in fact, he just backpacks the heart until the Aegis does expire.
Dire are scattered.
His team is close by now anyway, so chances are they wouldn't be able to kill him. Bottom lane being forced in here by 23 Savage, who's going to go for a Tormentor on his own. Though I don't believe he can do it on his own.
Regeneration.
Collapse has shown up as well. He has to be careful.
A little bit optimistic from Savage, but he doesn't fully commit at the least, so shouldn't be too bad. Getting some scouting done here with Ollie. He's been playing around with his stolen Doppel quite nicely to at least get some information. They will have to defend this one.
Oh, Q, he's taking a lot of damage from those illusions. Trying to just burn through them, and he will do so successfully. This goes to show how strong Yatoro is at the moment. So he is building into a butterfly into the Ag's Blessing as well here on Yatoro. So just trying to free up a slot and have a butterfly available for himself. Talon, big group up, heading towards the north of the map. They do have the Swift Link now on Makoto. Looks like they will find Mirror to get started. Mirror tries to force stuff. The lasso is going to ensure he is down. He will have buyback for this fight. He just won't pop it yet. They will go for the chase onto Q now. The Bat Rider going to be lifted away. Meanwhile, Savage, he will be onto Yatoro. Going for the man fight here against the PL, but Diz does need to back off. The Global Silence was popped. Jabs will keep chasing Yatoro. Yatoro fine with the Embers now, as instead they will go after the Pangali. Nullifier is out. Lal is still running successfully, however. And Mira, very patient on pressing the buyback button. Thankfully, for him won't do it, trusting his team to survive through that. And Talon only really finding a +4 for their trouble.
Yeah, but I feel like that's still pretty decent for Talon, considering, again, they're actually keeping Team Spirit on their toes. They're not fully committing in Team Spirit. They're not able to get the roar out. They don't get the best use of a roll, although low cooldown on Laurel, not the biggest issue. But they're not giving Team Spirit an opportunity to capitalize on the aggression of Talon. So even though you're only finding supports, at the same time, you're not losing heroes when you go out for these plays, which is also still pretty damn good. I suppose it just means you're not breaking the stalemate either. Again, Roche is going to be the big one where both sides will commit harder. See that respawn in around 40 seconds here. A little bit more time necessary. Cuban on point with finding some susceptible targets on the Flaming Lasso. And all with the saves from the backline has been very impactful in the middle of these engagements. So, again, they're just not giving too much out. No opportunities for either side here. And we're stuck in deadlock, Mike. What the heck is up with us with long series today, huh?
Yeah, I know. It's every game we've casted, and we've already casted 6 before this, has gone to about an hour. I mean, I can't say I'm too surprised with how long these games will go here with Talon, Jonathan, because they are known for their longer games.
Yeah,
so
that is true.
I've had that experience with your boys.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember a time where F10K went at 40 minutes, that was fun.
I do remember that.
Oh,
the betters were molding very hard that day.
That is a fun
Team
day
Spirit.
to watch, chat.
Smoke up, Talon looking to initiate. Lal is out with the Rolling Thunder, trying to break the gap between him and Q, but Q is still running out of range,
Savage?
stopping away, but Savage is able to pounce. Shadow Dance is there in time. He had the Dark Pack going, so the Roar will not be able to hold him down long enough. Roshan still about 18 seconds away from respawning. So both sides have a chance to reset and try to go after the Roshan. Go after that big fight. I don't know if Talon can really afford to let this Roshan go the way of Team Spirit for free. But considering how even the game is, you don't want to give any kind of advantage over.
Look at that split push. The Granite creep.
Oh boy.
South.
Oh boy, there goes your tier 3 tower.
No.
Team Spirit, they've got to rotate. They've got to get out of that Roshan pit, I think. They've left Yatoro to do the work himself in terms of the defense, but Talon are still hanging around the Dire base, still threatening to go high ground together. They almost lose the range racks down at bot lane. Now that Yatoro is not with his team, they are going to move over. Keep in mind, he does have the BOT2s, so he can still travel to his team. Scan is out on the Roshan pit, giving
The racks are falling.
Talon the information they require. The bottom rack's still falling in the meantime. The range racks is gone. Talon looking for the big entrance. Yatoro's still not around to help out as Roshan dropping even lower now. In goes 23 Savage. He'll get started. With the Shadow Dance being popped immediately into the BKB. He
wants
just
Roche.
wants the Aegis, but Yatoro's going to show up. Roar is
Oh,
out.
Savage!
Though, he does pick up the Aegis, looking for an escape route, but he's been silenced. He might lose that first life,
Oh,
but
the
a
lift.
nice lift. Ollie. Ollie will save, but no the swash.
But Jab is
gets
split
him.
pushing.
Spirit,
He's taking
they're
mid.
still moving in. Jabs in the meantime is routing the Dire base, trying to get as much for Talon as he possibly can. Savage should die here, still being locked down. He'll eat the cheese, he'll survive a little bit longer. The Roar is out there locking him down, but they will not follow up because the Rax is melting in the mid lane. T3 tower almost down. They had to force the Pango over.
What the hell? This match, man. Talon, Jabs, dancing all over the place. Getting that split push. The fact that Yatoro could not join that Roche gave that opportunity for Savage to jump in, steal the Aegis on a sliver's edge of timing. And now Team Spirit, now this is a tough game for them. You know, if beforehand we could say, all right, you know, Yatoro can carry through the game, can do everything like this, but one rack's down, a threat of mid falling.
Mid lane, Lal. No, they want Mirror. They'll go after the Shadow Demon first. Q with a perfect lasso setup has taken him down. No buyback available for the Shadow Demon. Savage looking for a little bit more. Thinks about going after Lal rather, but can't do so. Lal will be able to disengage. Butterfly now completed on Yatoro, but he has no gold for buyback.
Illusion.
So going all in again on the PL, realizing the position his team is in at the moment. He needs to be the big boy to carry this game for Team Spirit to try and get this draw out of them.
Wow.
Cannot afford to die once though. If he dies once, the game is basically as good as over.
Yeah, I don't think Talon still has enough damage to deal with that peel though. So I don't think that's going to be a big threat for Yatoro. He's fine with not having buyback gold. The issue is how far can he commit safely?
Jabs is around him now, but Jabs will need some help if they expect to try and even think about going after the PL. Collapse, however, a much simpler target if they did see him. He will get back towards the base. Yatoro will continue the split push through the top lane, trying to find a way to force Talon back here and not go into the Dire base. Of course, trying to get that buyback gold. So he is about 370 gold short now from the buyback. Almost has it completely farmed up though. Looks like Talon, they are not going to be able to reach high ground yet. Missed opportunity because now Yatoro is only 100 gold away from that buyback. And you see the immediate smoke here from Team Spirit. Meanwhile, Jab's top lane forced to pop the wolf form and run because Yatoro was in onto the Lycan. Ollie going to get caught in that Dire triangle by himself, does go for a lift, but it is not going to work out because Mirror is there with the demonic perch to slow him down. He'll take the swashbuckle, but it is not enough. They will lose the Rubik, though he does have buyback available. The Team Spirit are still successfully defending high ground. Buybacks are now up on the PL. And while all that was happening, Savage has farmed up a full MKB all of a sudden, so the Butterfly not going to be as big of an issue here against the Phantom Lancer.
Oh.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Lasso is out on Lal, but Yatoro immediately rotating in to try and help Lal out. They'll go for the fight. Savage going pretty deep here. How long can he survive through this one? Q about to drop, still running, but does finally go down to Yatoro as now they're on to Savage. They really would love that slot. Savage, does he even have buyback gold? He's down, but he does save for the buyback. He doesn't expend all his gold on the MKB. Did have the backup ready, but suddenly Yatoro, he's onto the mid tier 3 tower. Talon, do they want to buy back? It's just so risky in a game like this to commit the buybacks. Just in case you lose the next team fight. Yatoro, he'll go in onto Jabs. force the wolf form once again. And seeing that wolf form expended, Yatoro, I don't think he's too concerned about it, to be honest with you, John. He'll go back in after the mid-tier 3 tower.
Middle tower has fallen.
Until he sees the Slark buyback, I think Yatoro wants to stick around. Another glyph forced out. The PL still leaving some illusions behind. Water Stopple again. And the mid racks is gone. At least the melee barracks are down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Jabs is still trying to split push in the Dire base, but it is not going to work because Lal is defending. Yatoro back down towards the bottom lane now, looking for a secondary rack, so Savage is still holding out on the buyback. Understanding how valuable that buyback is going to be now that Team Spirit are looking to take 2 lanes of barracks. In comes Jabs to try and help defend. But Spirit, they've already gotten what they came for. I mean, there is still a tier 2 top tower standing, so they could never go for the megas anyway. So suddenly Team Spirit in the lead in this game number 2. All off the back of one bad fight in the mid lane for Talon.
You just can't afford to make mistakes for either side here. Talon give an opening. Team Spirit are quick to punish. And now they're the ones playing in the back foot. They've always got someone watching their base. They know the split push comes out from Jabs. And Savage just can't afford to be that far forward. Savage and Q just playing with fire there. Side of Team Spirit. 1 rack's away, 1 tier 2 away from getting the full mega creeps up. 1 rack's down bot as well, but not going to take too long to find that. The DD left alone, not being scouted out by Ard's side, and Team Spirit now going for that smoke. If they find the angle in here, it could be Talon just dropping this.
Oh, it's a double damage rune down at the bottom rune spot as well. Nobody sees it yet. I believe it is eventually going to be revealed here by Jabs' illusions. Roshan being scouted. Still a minute and 45 away though till we even find out when the respawn timer is. So Lyle just having a cheeky look just in case. Miposhka casually finding 4 banner runes for himself. Very, very nice. Bit of a nice influx as the double damage. Ooh, Makoto's got it. He is hitting for about 700 per right click on the TA now, as Lasso is going to catch up Miposhka. And he completely melts to the damage of Makoto. And I do not think you want to fight with this TA right now. I think Team Spirit want to completely avoid the side of Talon.
Jabs?
Oh, Jabs running in. Lal, he's going to have the TP coming in from Yatoro. Savage knowing how strong they are. He's going to keep going. Lal will go into the invis and he will remain safe. Yatoro in the meantime looking for a target to go after. Looks like they have found Mirror on the Shadow Demon, but he will buy back along with Miposhka. Lal in the meantime controlling up Q on the Bat Rider, so Yatoro
no buyback.
Able to find a trade for his team, and there is no buyback on Q. That is huge for Team Spirit.
Big opening. No threat of the lasso to take care of your supports, to take care of the back line. And Talon, they find something. They force out 2 buybacks themselves, but just not enough to feel comfy here. As they can't quite keep doing this split push any longer. With the way that Team Spirit's playing, they've got Roche control as well. We'll see if it's a longer than 34-second respawn, it will head up top. So kind of on knife's edge again. Team Spirit in clear control of the game though. Just 1 team fight away from ending it all and giving Talon the draw.
Jump in again. Yatoro targeted here by Savage. Traps are there to silence him up. Not going to mean too much now. It's collapse. He's in with the Scythe of Vice. Savage going to be saved by Ollie. Cannot afford to die in the Slark at the moment as Yatoro onto the T4 towers now. Going right for the jugular. Talon forced to make a decision with 4v5. Is the storyline here for Talon now as Makoto's going to go into the backside trying to get something done. Jabs also there as well, focusing on Miposhka. Problem is now Makoto, he's in trouble. Yatoro right behind him. The lift again from Ollie, going to buy time though. Talon not losing their TA, and they really can't afford to lose him. The Savage forced to pounce out. Will be fine. Team Spirit turning their attention back onto Jabs. He is in the wolf form, but they are chasing him down the best they possibly can. Jabs in huge danger, is going to go down. And he does have buyback and will commit as now Makoto's gone. Buyback is available for the TA. There is no choice, he needs to buy back. In we go again. Savage trying for Yatoro, taking a bit too much damage, does pop the Shadow Dance, but Yatoro just manning up, though he's quite low on mana now. He needs to be careful. Makoto gonna jump in with the BKB, but an immediate silence is gonna make it so he cannot continue. He will retreat as Jab's now in trouble. Can't do much without the Lycan Wolf form, is gonna go down. But you do have Q coming back up in the Battle Rider. You desperately need everybody to get right now. And Savage going to jump in. They're trying to go onto the PL. They've got the lasso, but the disruption is going to make it pretty hard to take down Yatoro. The doppelganger out of the fountain. He's fine for now, but Yatoro's gone. He can buy. He will retreat as Jab's now in trouble. Can't do much without the Lycan Wolf form. Is going to go down. But you do have Q coming back up in the Battle Rider. You desperately need everybody to get right now. And Savage going to jump in. They're trying to go onto the PL. They've got the lasso, but the disruption is going to make it pretty hard to take down Yatoro. The doppelganger out of the fountain. He's fine for now, but Yatoro's gone. He can buy back and TP back in. He'll do so now. The Ancient is under siege. Q still trying to go. They're focusing the Ancient Yatoro. He's back into the team fight, trying to go after it. They are chasing him down. Glyph is out. Savage in huge trouble is down, and it looks like Talon have probably lost this game as there is 3 down without buyback. Team Spirit making the comeback happen in game number 2. And Talon